Christopher Collins.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Raleigh, North Carolina. Raleigh, North Carolina. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You already know you have entered the RDU Live Show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. I'm your host, Cam McCarty, sitting in the seat today. Look, if you're out there on 540 Glenwood, wherever you might be, go ahead, put that seatbelt on. Want to make sure you're buckling up and make sure you're reaching over and you're turning us up and you're having a good evening. Look, if you're out there on Facebook, YouTube, Live 365, wherever you might be, go ahead, put something in the comments. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you're listening. And don't forget to hit that like, share, or subscribe button. They say it helps the algorithm or something like that, all right? And no matter where you're at, around the triangle or around the world, like I like to say, this is a call-in show. And that means when we're not playing music, the phone lines are wide open. And that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. Look, we got a jam-packed show for you today. You already know what we're doing. I'm sitting in the seat. But you don't have to sit here and listen to me for just an hour straight. I got somebody sitting across from me. We're going to have a good conversation. I got a Pocket Bae. How you doing? How you doing? Say that for me one more time. One more time.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. And if you've been listening out there, if you've been watching the show a little bit, you already know what happens on a Tuesday. On Tuesdays, every Tuesday, CJ Baker and the crew over at Rhythm and Brews, they have an open mic night that they do. Starts up at about 9 o'clock, and they have a featured artist, a featured guest. Tonight happens to be Al Strong, the world-renowned Al Strong. He's a trumpet player. He's a horn player. And he'll be starting up at about 9 and then going to about 9:45. And then after that, it's an open mic. It's a jam session. You know it's Tuesday. You know what we do on Tuesdays. And so it's a good day. It's a good day. What you got going on Tuesdays? Just hanging out? What you do? What do you do on Tuesdays?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, on Tuesdays, I usually do Bible study.
And that's why we have these conversations, folks. That is so we're starting to open up the conversation here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so on Tuesdays, open mics over at CJ Baker's, but Miss Pocket Bae is a Bible study on Tuesday.
I mean, I do support CJ. He's a dear friend of mine. Fellow musician friend. So yes, I do support him at times.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But there's so many things to do. And one of the things we talk about on this show, one of the things that I like to talk about is the varying aspects of the world and of our community, whether it's RDU, whether it's another place, and the different people that we have come on. And that was a really interesting point about it is, so Bible studies on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday. There's so many different places to be. So many different things to do. And so as we go along in this show, especially when we get towards the end of it, we talk about the different places. Mm-hmm. And so there's actually a couple open mics, but there's also a couple Bible studies to go to. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. We got Pocket Bae sitting in the studio with us today. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I can't complain.
How you doing? I open this up with a question, put you on the spot. I like that. So I want to open this conversation up and talk about what you have going on, right? Okay. And who you are as an artist. So you're a curator.
I am.
You're a musician.
I am.
Right?
I am.
You're an entrepreneur.
I am.
There's a lot of these things. And so we opened that first conversation up. And you talked about Bible study. So now we know that faith is a part of who you are.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I love these these openings. So let's talk about Pocket Bae.
Okay.
Who are you? I named a couple things off real fast here. Let's tell the people who you are and so they can get to know you.
Okay. I am Pocket Bae. I go by Pocket Bae, but my name is Nikki, and I am from Johnston County. Born and raised in Johnston County. I do have some years in Wake County. However, I represent JoCo. born and raised in church. That's where I started, playing drums and, with my faith and, being brought up in church. This year makes 31 years of me being a drummer. 2019, I ventured out from playing in the church. I still play in the church now, but I'm saying I ventured out. The church people will say secular music. So I ventured out and I did a blues band with my church band, and it was called Chicken Shack.
Okay.
And we actually did that in 2018. We put the band together. We did the blues challenge at the Blue Note in Durham, and we actually won. That was our first time ever doing it. That was my first time ever playing outside of church, and we actually won. And they flew us out in 2019, January 2019, to Memphis, Tennessee to compete against, I think it was 125 other bands. Wow. Of course, we didn't win, but it gave us a lot of exposure. And from there, that's where, like, me playing for different bands opened up. And from there, I started playing with an artist. His name was Wake Moody. His name is Wake Moody. I played with him, I believe it was about 3 years. 3 years. Played with him. I played with Azul. I've played with the Phoebe's band.
Wow,
I actually helped them start that. The Phoebe's band. And from there, I started my own. 2022, I started my own Ladies First band. Ladies First. And that went crazy. Like, it went, like, how it started was I was at a show with Wake Moody, and we were at a local bar downtown Raleigh, Watson Ward. And I was talking to the GM at the time during the break, and he was like, Nikki, you are phenomenal. Long story short, he was like, I want to help you go to the next level. And I'm just like, what do you mean? He still didn't tell me what he meant. However, it was one day, it was a Sunday. I can't remember the particular, I think it was in October of 2022. Someone hit me up and was like, you should do a jam session. I was like, okay. And mind you, I'm playing for Wake Moody. We playing at Watson Ward. We had a residency there for I believe it was about 2 years, 3 years. Don't quote me on that, but it was a while. And so I talked to the GM at Watson Ward, and I was like, I was advised to do a jam session. Do you think, we can do it today? He was like, today? He was like, let me call you back. Let me call you back. And it was a Sunday. So of course, my faith, I'm at church. So he called me back and he was like, Nikki, yeah, we can do it. I got the okays to do it. I was like, really? And from there, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And so I ended up calling someone that I knew. His name is Matt Grady. I called him. I said, look, Matt, I need you to pull the people on your side. I need you to bring in the sound equipment. We're going to do a jam session at Watson Ward. And so I just put it out there. I said, jam session at Watson Ward. This was in 2022. It was a pop-up jam session. And from there, like, doors opened up for me to curate different jam sessions, different events.
So you're using this term jam session. What does that mean? What is jam session?
I would say I'm old school, and I would just say it's a shed. Musicians probably know what I'm talking about. Back in the day.
For the non-musicians, what is a shed?
Well, musicians come in together and we just jam out. We come in and not necessarily just jam out, but we learn from each other. It's not a competition. Some people do compete. However, it's not a competition. It's where you can network. It's where you can learn. It's where you meet new musicians and fellow musicians and just be creative together. And that's what basically a jam session is. And how I did it, and I did a flip to the jam session, is I structured it more. And I made it to where we had like an itinerary where we just not showing up and just, throwing out music and making it like an open mic type situation. It was more together. And so I just started reaching out to different artists, and I was like, look, we're having a jam session. Do you want to be a part? This is something that, you can come and promote yourself, and we'll put it on, Instagram, Facebook, and we can just go from there. And from there, like I said, doors started really opening for me, and I started getting inboxes. I'm having a corporate event, and I saw your band online. Can we book your band? And that's how basically I started growing. Just social media and just being consistent with what I was doing and being like, and having a lot of integrity when I do things as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a couple questions in here. This is very fascinating. So one thing I talk about on this show all the time is collaboration. Like this, our whole platform is built on collaboration, networking, and just getting with other people. So when you talk about reaching out to different musicians, or, and different people to come together for these jam sessions, how do you do that? So you're a musician yourself.
I am.
Right? You're a musician.
I'm a drummer. Yes.
You're a drummer. And so I assume that, you know a lot of people, but how do you grow that? Like, how do you go about like finding different people to come into your circle and to come to these jam sessions and jam out? Like, how do you do that? Because you almost have to be an extrovert, I guess, right?
Basically, like you said, I know a lot of people. And with me knowing a lot of people, it's just not me knowing these people. These people have become like, I'm not going to say necessarily close friends, but they've become like people I can talk to.
Yeah.
It became more than just music. I looked at them more than just being musicians and singers. Like, I started to build relationships with them, as far as like just checking in, how you doing, or sharing, what they may have got, they may have going on. Like, they may have an event. I share that, and just being like involved and supportive. That's how I started, building that relationship. So me supporting them, they support me, and it became a collective,
symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to touch on the curator part of it, right? When you're talking about doing a jam session, right? And this is something that you'll understand kind of as the conversation goes on. But I love to like do this learning experiment for other musicians out there, or people who aren't necessarily musicians, and they just kind of come and watch the experience. But you as a curator, right? I see you curate a lot of events, right? over a long period of time.
Right.
That's not easy.
It's definitely not.
It's not easy to. It's one thing to play, and it's one thing to curate, but then to do both and to coordinate all these things. So I want to talk to this point of curation and coordinating just a little bit. So how do you go about the relationship with other musicians, as well as venues, as well as maybe other vendors that are a part of what you're doing? That curator mind, that entrepreneurship mind, how do you take the music of it that you have and then become a curator of events and do it for a long period of time? Well, take me through that process.
Basically, like I said, it's building a relationship. And outside of music, me being an entrepreneur, being a drummer, being a business woman, you have to be professional. You have to be professional. And you have to really be professional, not like,
just
not
say
a
you
front.
are. Yeah.
You gotta really, it's a lifestyle. It became a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just having good character, having integrity, speaking well, treating people the way I would like to be treated, and just being fair, and being honest. Honesty.
Is the
I
big
would
one.
say that is the key, is being
is the big
honest.
one.
And that's how I began to build relationships with different venues. And again, like social media, just posting every once in a while and, being consistent with that, and sharing other people to become visible to other people. Like, okay, she's sharing my post. Let me go check out what she's doing, and that's how I built that relationship. And here I am.
That just, I don't know. It's one of those things of like, I can see on your social media, right? And I look back, I do a little bit of research before people come on. I look back, you've been doing it for a long time. And consistency over a long time, that's like one of the huge breakthroughs in any industry,
right.
Whoever you are, whatever you're doing. But being consistent and being able to like sustain over a long period of time with a diverse group of people is a really it's a really intriguing thing for me. I love to sit across from people who've been doing something and found a level of success in it, and kind of how your brain works and how you get there, especially with musicians. And you're a drummer, right? So you're a drummer. So I was watching some Instagram thing or whatever, and it was like, if you're into sports, you'll understand this a little bit, but it was talking about the starting five of a band, the starting five of a band. And it was like the point guard would be this X instrument or whatever. And it was this thing of the drummer should be the point guard of the band, right? The drummer should be the point guard of the band. What's your take on something like that? And point guard, if you're out there and you're listening, you're not about sports. Point guard is the person who like controls everything and was everything. So give me your thoughts on something like that.
Being a drummer, we're the heartbeat of the band. So I will have to agree that we probably will be the point guard.
Okay.
Without a point guard in basketball.
Not the keys. Not keys. What about keys now?
The keys, I think it will be bass and drummer. I'm not excluding keys. No, I'm not. Okay. But if the bass and the drummer is locked, everything else is going to fall. It just kind of comes on top. Yeah. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Okay.
That is my take on that.
Okay. No, I tend to agree. Because that's the heartbeat. It's literally the heartbeat of, the composition of the band. But keys, I would give keys just a little. Come on now, just a little bit in there. You ain't got no love for keys. Come on now.
I do.
Whoa. Are we just breaking this?
I do. I will say. Are we comparing this to basketball? I would say keys are probably a forward.
What?
Center. I would say it's the center.
Okay.
Center.
Holding down the paint.
The center, guitar, probably power forward.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I would categorize that.
Really?
Yeah.
But drums gotta.
Drummer is gonna definitely be the point guard.
Wow.
Not because I'm a drummer either, but it just makes sense.
It's not because you're a drummer. It's just it just makes sense.
Absolutely, it just makes sense if you think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So, one thing that has always intrigued me, another one, is when a drummer is the MD, right? And like calling, the next thing or whatever. It's like, there's a lot going on when you're playing. Like, that's a lot.
Listen, I have never been an MD.
Uh-huh.
Now, do I know MDs? Do I know a drummer? Matter of fact, the drummer for Pocket Bae Experience is the MD. So I really honestly don't understand how he does it.
That's a lot.
I stay in my lane. That's what I'm learning to in this field, in this music industry, is staying in my lane. So I'm not going to sit here in front and say, yeah, I can do it. And I really can't. Like I said, honesty is the key.
Honesty is the key.
I can't really speak on that because I have no idea. That's why I designate and I stay in my lane to make this thing be a success.
Two things there that I want to stop down and talk about for just a second. So an MD, for everybody out there that might not be a musician, is a musical director.
Right.
They're the person that's really controlling how the composition goes, the next place that it's going, especially when you're playing live. And things change, and they know the set. They know all of everything that's about to happen, and usually they have a microphone that they can talk to the other musicians, and they can tell them where we're about to go next and keep the things flowing. Right? That's when we say an MD. So think about playing drums, but also talking to your musicians at the same time and telling them what the next cue is or what's about to happen. It's a thing. Any music, honestly, anybody that does it has to have a brain for it. It's not an easy thing to do. But then moving from that and talking about this concept of being honest, and we were first when we brought it up, we were alluding to the concept of being honest in business and honest with the people that you're working with. But you just brought up a concept of being honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
And knowing what you can do.
Absolutely.
And not do. And that's not saying that you can't do something, but it's just understanding who you are as a person. Right. And in this thing called business, in this thing called musicianship, in this thing called life, it's understanding what you can do and what you can do to move forward. Right. So I'm going to double back and talk about this entrepreneurship thing. Talk about this curation thing. You spoke on a point of, you know what you can do, but you also know how to delegate.
Right.
You also know how to ask other people to do X, Y, and Z. How is it to curate an event or even have a band, but have another person that's running the band, MD? In that, how do you negotiate that? How do you take yourself out of it and say, hey, this thing is a little bit bigger than me?
I think I understand that well, because I was a follower, meaning I was the drummer and had usually it's always the keyboardist organist. As the MD,
that's why I asked. Yeah.
So learning from who I was under in church playing the drums, just learning from them and seeing the responsibilities that they had, I knew that had I, when I was younger, I was dreaming of having my own bands and putting things together. I would just sit in my room and I will just think about those things. So I envision okay, when I get older or whatever, when I put me a band together or whatever I want to do in music, I know that this part of me is not it. This is not it. My thing is structure, keeping the structure of, the band, the production company, whatever it is. I learned to stay in my lane. I learned to delegate and, not be so, how can I put it? Not be so
self-centered.
That too. Self-centered, and I'm having a brain fart.
No.
I am having a brain fart. I cannot believe I'm sitting up here having a brain fart. But basically what I'm saying is
it's one of those things where you go into your room and you understand who you are. Right? You understand who you are. And when you come out of that understanding who you are, I can do X, and I need other people to fill in the gaps.
So basically not to get burned out.
Yeah.
And to just know that I can't do this by myself. There's no I in team. You know what I'm saying? So in order for any type of corporation, any type of business, any type of anything to work successfully, you have to have a team. Exactly. And you have to be honest, knowing look, I may, for an example, I'm the founder of Pocket Bae Experience in the Pocket Productions, Ladies First. I'm not big on titles because I know I can't be, Ladies First can't be Ladies First without
the ladies.
The ladies. Pocket Bae Experience can't be Pocket Bae Experience without the experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so basically, I know there's no I in team. So I know what I can do. I'm honest with myself. And I'm to the point where I'm more mature now to know that, look, just because I came up with this doesn't mean that this person can't be over that. With that person being over that, I let them be over that. Then we come together in our meetings and then we discuss things. And I still let them be over that because they're better at that. You know what I'm saying? So basically just being honest and learning how to just stay in my lane, and that's how a successful corporation, business, whatever you want, whatever you have can be successful if you just be honest and just stay in your lane. Yeah.
Know what you can do. I have the saying, I know what I don't know.
Right.
And when I don't know that, I go find what I don't know out.
Right.
And it's not that I have to figure it out. It's not that I have to know it. It's just me understanding, I don't know that. Let me get the help to figure that part out. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Just like in school, no question is a dumb question.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, just know that you can say, look, I don't know how to do this. You know how to do that. Just being confident in knowing that. You may learn from that person, and then next time you may know how to do it. But just being honest and admitting, look, I don't know how to do that. Can you show me?
Yeah, can you show me?
So,
and that's how you learn, and that's how you become better.
Right.
So, If you're just joining in, we're kind of in the middle of this conversation. Look, I'm Cam. This is the RDU Live Show. We're right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY right now. And we're having a conversation with Pocket Bae. We're just talking about your journey, you being a curator, you being a drummer, musician, and all of the above, and just kind of your brain and how you work through things and how you do it. And so, look, if you're out there and you want to have a conversation with a celebrity of sorts, hey, go ahead and call in. That phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. We're having a conversation. So I wanted to go back to a couple things we were talking about earlier on. I put you on the spot and asked you what you were doing on a Tuesday. And we were talking about Bible study and all those kind of things. And then you let us know that you grew up in church and playing in church. How does that experience inform what you do now and how you play and how you interact with musicians, how you interact with the world? How does that coming up in church inform who you are as a person and a musician?
I would say faith, just having faith and believing in myself, knowing that one of my favorite verses in the Bible is Philippians 4:13. I could do all things through Christ that gives me strength, that strengthens me. Mm-hmm. And, in the beginning, and sometimes still now, I doubt myself. But, God has a way of showing me that, look, you can do this. And what I mean by that is sometimes I feel like giving up. And it was one particular year, 2023, July 2023. I wanted to stop everything. I wanted to stop. And then, I ain't gonna say a little birdie, but just random person. I still don't know who this person is. Just random. And this person hit me up on Facebook. And I can't even find this person. I promise you I can't.
Wow.
It was a guy. He told me, he said, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. God sees you.
Wow.
And that stuck with me.
Wow.
This is my first time ever saying this to anyone. I've never said anything to anyone about it. I cried and I was like, God, I wanted to stop. Because for one time I wanted to stop was because, I was brought up in church. And then if I'm not actually in church doing the music and all of that stuff, I feel like I was failing God. But church is within me. Yeah, and I kept telling myself, church is within me. God can use you outside of church. And he did. So many people come to me saying, random stuff like, oh, your smile brightened up my day. And, I came to your event. And matter of fact, a musician that was doing one of my events at Watson Ward, he was like, Nikki, I'm sorry I'm late, but I just had a rough day. I said, you know what? Look, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll get through this. Don't worry about it. Go do what you got to do. After the event, he came to me and he said, man, I'm so glad you're doing this. I said, what do you mean? He was like, you remember when I came to you and I told you, I was having a bad day and, that's why I was late. He was like, but this just brought so much joy. And that for me is just like, that's more than money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And how I centered that from church is that's how I envision how God, wants us to be, a light. And I felt like that's what I was to that person or the events that I curate is the light. That shines. I may not be singing Amazing Grace in, these venues, but at the end of the day, God gets the glory out of all of it because people are coming in looking for some type of joy, some type of relief. And to come to the event, it's not just a good time, it's an experience. So they keep wanting to come back for more. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I envision, church should be. An experience, having people wanting to come back for more because it was so good. Yeah. So,
No, that makes sense. It's that saying, we are the arms and feet, right? In our practical lives.
Right.
And you're taking a very practical thing of jam sessions or whatever the case it is, experience, whatever it is, and being the hands and feet and touching people. Right. Whatever way that is, right? Whatever positive way that is. No, that makes sense.
It's community to me.
It's community.
It's community to me. It's a joy to me. I love meeting new people and I don't know. They come to me and sometimes they just come to me and tell me their business. And that happened to me when I was younger. And I didn't understand it until now. I'm like, God, maybe I do have this light that people or this type of comfort or this type of, aura about me that people feel like, feel that comfortable to come to me and talk to me about things. And, I always learned when I was praying back in the day. My mom would teach me, when you pray, say, or when you do things, say, Lord, let self decrease that you may increase through me. So
Yeah,
I never
yeah,
want to
yeah.
speak when I'm speaking to somebody, especially about such certain situations that they may be going through. I never want to let my personal feelings or, flesh get in the way of God working through me, no matter where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, my light will shine no matter where I'm at. And I've lived to testify
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
and be in agreement to, how good God has been to me.
yeah. No, I love, once again, I say this a lot. I love having these conversations and like you open up more, right? And now we understand a little bit more about Pocket Bae, a little bit more about Nikki, and just kind of how you're thinking and how you're coming about who you are and what you're doing. And like I said before, being the hands and feet and like touching people and interacting with people. And, as they say, dying to flesh and letting
Absolutely.
other things come, all those things come about in these conversations. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that candidness and how you go about what you do. If you are just joining in and you came in midway, I was talking about appreciating the consistency and the longevity. And then if you fast forward to this part of the conversation, you can kind of understand why there's a longevity. If you go, and this is just my opinion, I will insert my opinion here. When you go about things in a certain way and you put people first and you put God first,
Right.
and you do things in a humble way, in a notable way, you can have longevity. If you're out there listening, that's just my opinion, but you can have longevity. So another thing I wanted to touch on here. This is about to be a leading question. All right, this is about to be a leading question. So if you were listening to Cam's conversation a couple weeks ago, I was talking about doing things in real life. I was talking about doing things in real life and this concept of what social media has done to us as a society overall. And then bringing it back down, back to the triangle and what social media does to artistry and how we put so much into social media, rightfully so. I think it's a great tool, but we put so much into it, but then we neglect this concept of being in person and doing,
Right.
and doing those things and being in person and that value that it still has, one, to us as a community, but also to us as a business. Right? To us as a business. And so I was having that conversation with the listeners. And so now I have someone sitting across from me who actually curates real life experiences with the Pocket Bae experience. And so, and I'm giving a little more context to it to give you some time to formulate some things here. But it's this concept of, like they say, IRL, in real life, and the importance of, let's bring it to the music community, of doing shows in real life.
Right.
And I love live bands. I know not every artist, not every singer, rapper, whatever has a live band behind them. I understand that, right? But the concept of just being in real life and performing with other musicians and getting to a jam session, going to an open mic and experiencing that, there's this let's create at home, maybe create in the booth, maybe create in the studio. We can all of us can go in the box, as they say, if you just download some software, right? We can all create in the box in our home, in our studio, which is great because it allows for all of us to be able to do it and have artistry. But what about that jam session where we all get together? And then as an artist who's trying to grow, what about that in performing in front of 5 people that then turns into 10, that then turns into 25? That sounds like small growth, but that's real. It's real. If you're talking to another artist or an up and coming artist, what's your take on that? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cam is just up here talking about something wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. What's your take on performance and real life performance?
Just believing in yourself. Believing in yourself, real life performance. You have to have that confidence in yourself. Even if it's just 1, 2, or 3 people that's in the audience. You can't let that discourage you from who you are as a person, who you are as an artist. You have to keep going, because if you don't keep going, you're going to stay complacent. You're going to be stagnant, and you're going to stop believing in yourself. So what I would say to encourage an artist, a musician, just believe in yourself. Don't look at the numbers. Don't chase. And I will say this: don't chase the money. Chase the dream. Money will always come. That is my motto. That is something that I live on. Like, if you chase the dream and your passion, the money will come. Don't be discouraged when you see someone else, going forward. You're next in line. You're next in line if you stay consistent and you stay focused and you stay humble. That is another key, being humble. When you're not humble, I'm not going to say you're not going to make it, but you're not going to make it far. Because not being humble leads you to being can lead to you being a little arrogant, a little cocky, impatient, things of that nature. And then another thing I would say is be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. If you're in the studio and you're creating songs, you may have to rewrite a song. You may be doing a whole album that may never get released. That doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? So just stay consistent with that.
Yeah.
And faithful to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you believe in God, acknowledge him in all your ways, because he will lead you and direct you in the right path.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll keep your path straight. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that concept of encouragement, right? That concept of stay encouraged. And that's why I brought up those numbers specifically of, you may be performing in front of 5 people. Right? You may be performing in front of 10, or you may be performing in front of 10,000. But in order to get to the 10,000, there's steps.
Right.
And you got to get out there and just try it.
Right.
And just do it. And that's whether I've said this before, that's whether you're a singer or a drummer or a guitarist or whatever the case is. If this is something you want to do and you're trying to do, there's a little piece of putting yourself out there.
Right.
Putting yourself out there. And what I'm saying is putting yourself out there virtually, in the social media realm, I 100% agree with. But then there's also this concept of putting yourself out there in the real world. Right. And that's a very quotation mark statement. But, and going to the jam sessions and meeting other musicians in real life and understanding what that is. So you might not know this, but the RDU Live Show, and I say this a lot for new people, new listeners, all that kind of stuff. The RDU Live Show, this whole platform was built on the concept, literally, of RDU live performances.
Wow.
Right. So it's this concept of me being a host on the radio. We're doing this live right now. People, this is not scripted. This is not recorded. If we mess up, if we stumble, that's what it is. It's live. And so being live on the air, this is what I do. I work in live television. I work in live radio. This is what we do. And so it's having a respect for people who can get up on stage, whether you're a drummer, a guitarist, a comedian, an actor in theater, whatever the case is, being able to do things live. When there's no, let me start over. We don't get the luxury of doing that, right? And so when you exercise those muscles, you become better at your craft. Right. And that's not negating what they call post-production. That's not negating the studio. That's not negating perfection and doing things in multiple takes. But there's this artistry. There's this love that I have for when people can do things live. Right. And so a lot of the push that I'm doing in 2026, I'm being very overt about this, is getting people to understand it's nothing wrong with going to a jam session and being live, and you might not hit the right note every single time when we're in the shed. Like it's okay. It's okay. But the bigger part of that is getting to network with other musicians. The bigger part of that is understanding and learning how to perform in front of other people like you do at church, right? And there's so much to learn in that. There's so many pieces to that. And I just feel like in the last maybe 5 years, we've started to shy away from that because social media numbers mean more than anything. right? And it's how do I do this at home with the best take possible, right? And put it on social media and then become famous, which if that's your path, I 100% support you. But I think for the overarching majority of us, it's that community that can be built in real life.
Right.
In real life. And I really enjoy having conversations with people like yourself who are making those spaces for other people.
Right.
And what I'm saying on the radio is if you're out there, there's people like Pocket Bae who are making those experiences happen where we can all come together as musicians or as media personalities or just people who just want to get together and have a good time. You're creating those spaces for us to do that. And it's not easy to create those spaces. It's not easy to create those spaces. And so I know this is a leading question here, but these are just concepts that I've been talking about this year. And so someone like yourself who's creating experiences with the Pocket Bae Experience Band, I want people to come see you.
Right.
I want people to come see you.
I do too.
Yeah. I want people to come see you and all the other musicians who are involved in it.
Yes.
But then I also want the other musicians who are out there who might not be coming to come experience it, right? And to come network and to create these communities, and these communities blossom and they grow and they become lively, right? And we can produce something out of the triangle, out of the world. It transcends one place, but it's just the concept of.
Right.
It's just the concept of. So as we get to the last part of this thing, I always reserve this part for you once again to talk about who you are as Pocket Bae or Nikki, however you want to do it, but also what you have coming up, the different jam sessions and different experiences that you might have coming up in the next month, 2 months, or just projects that you're working on. Slow it down for the people and let them know what you're doing currently so that we can all understand.
Okay, so currently I am I'm at the reset phase. So I usually do I changed it a year ago. You may not know, but I don't. It's not a jam session anymore. It's more of an artist session. So that's what it is. So a year ago, in November of 2025, it was a year. Made it a year. I was like, this is more of an artist session where all artists come together and we jam out and we make music and we, network and things of that nature. So it's an artist session. So right now I'm resetting. I am planning. I'm planning to come back with live music March 2026. I got new venues.
What?
I got new venues. So that's a blessing. New venues. I'm still doing
new venues, plural. There we go.
Plural. Yes. So in March, what is it? What is the date? The 5th? No, 14th. March 14th. I will be doing an after party for the Daydream Day Party at level 7.
Level 7.
I will do their after party at Ambiance. So that will be my first date being back with live music this year. March 14th at Ambiance. It was the old TJs. Now it's, it's nice. It's very nice. Flyers will be posted probably mid-February. Okay. I'm doing the after parties for Daydream Day Party, which is held at level 7. That's in North Hills. And the after parties at Ambiance. I do the artist session every third Sundays in Durham at Peace and Saint. It's from 8 until 11. Okay. Doors at 7. And so new venues, I'm trying to curate what I want to do. Yeah. So it's Terminal 8. That's in Raleigh. Yeah. Terminal 8. And then I do quite a few events in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Airborne Cigar Lounge in Fayetteville. And I have a new venue in Rayford, North Carolina. It's, 1911? Yes, 1910. I'm sorry, 1910. Okay. It's a wine lounge. So that's something that I'll start doing there. So y'all just follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook.
What's the handle?
Okay. Pocket Bae Official on Instagram and Nikki Benton on Facebook. You can follow me. I will be posting the new events, the new venues, new cities, Greensboro and Charlotte as well. I forgot about that. It's so much. But God has blessed me within, I would say, a month's time.
Wow.
Had meetings with people. They saw, again, social media, saw me on social media, word of mouth about what I do. So I will be doing, I don't know the venues. Like I said, it's still up in, in the making. But it is Greensboro and Charlotte.
Expansion.
So, yes, expansion.
So we got Pocket Bae official.
Pocket Bae official on Instagram, and Nikki Benton on Facebook.
And we got a couple different venues we're talking about. We're talking about Terminal 8.
Terminal 8.
Terminal 8, that's in Raleigh. Right. Peace and Saint.
Peace and Saints is in Durham.
Peace and Saint is in Durham. And then the first event we were talking about was at Level 7.
The Level 7 day party. They be in there at 11. 11 o'clock. That's Level 7 in North Hills, which is in Raleigh. And then the after party is at Ambiance, the old TJ's. That's in Raleigh as well.
And then we're talking even outside of the triangle. A little bit of expansion here. We got Fayetteville.
We got Rayford, North Carolina. We have Greensboro, North Carolina, and we have Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm lying. I just last night I was at an event my cousin was throwing, and he wanted me to do music there, and that's in Joco, Johnston County. Wow. So that's in Smithfield, North Carolina. Like I said, it's so much. If you follow me again on Instagram and Facebook, you will see everything that will be happening March through December of 2026.
Wow. Big year.
Absolutely.
Big year. You said you were doing a reset.
Yep, a reset. And this reset is really a reset.
This reset is really a reset. Yes. I'm excited. I'm actually excited. And can I come to a couple events?
Absolutely.
Am I invited?
Listen.
Am I invited?
Yes. You can come to all of them.
All of them. And so can you if you're listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, everybody come. Like, this is for the community. This is for us. I do this for us. I'm a drummer first. Before all of this, I'm a musician first. So that is why I do what I do for us. Not just for me, for us. So come out, be supportive. I'm going to be hitting some of you guys up anyway. So you're going to be a part.
Yeah. No. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no. This has been a really good conversation, and just kind of talk about a couple things that we've talked about over the last hour or so. It's just you being a curator, you being a musician, like you said. I'm glad you said that right there. You're a musician first, right? You're a drummer. Yeah. You're a drummer. Pocket Bae. If you're out there and you don't understand what Pocket Bae, I'm finna guess. I've never asked you this question.
I'll tell you if you're right or not.
so it's like when you're playing drums, and if you ever hear somebody playing drums and they can go all over the kit, they call that chops, right? They can just do a whole bunch of things over the kit, which is great. But it's when somebody can play the drums and they can just hold this beat and they can just make you feel a certain way. They call that the pocket. It's like I'm gonna stop right there.
You're right.
But
you're right. You gotta be locked.
You gotta be locked.
You're right.
You gotta be locked on something. And that's like the quintessential part of being a drummer, right? It's being able to lock to that. And we were talking earlier, recapping the conversation. You got the drums as the point guard, right? You got the drums as the point guard. But it's that concept of if you're locked, if the drums are locked, and then I will tend to agree. If the drums and the bass are locked,
listen.
Hey, I'm gonna throw a name out here. Go look at Fred Hammond, man, one of the best bass players to ever hit the planet. Fred Hammond, when they get locked, it's over. I'm gonna stop right there. But well, yeah. So we've talked about a multitude of things, you being a curator and just kind of how the evolution of your jam session, then artist sessions, and just those different things all the way up until 2026. Yep. And it's flourishing, it's blossoming, and there's more to come. One thing I did want, before we get off here, we got like 2 more minutes. One thing I did want to talk about is the verses that you did. How did that go?
So that went well. I was called Archie Logan. He called me wanting to do a benefit. And he was like, let's do it together. Yeah. And it was the old school versus the new school. Some people might have thought it was a competition, but basically, he said, they're going to think it's a competition, but it's a conversation. It's basically a conversation.
Yeah.
Us appreciating the old
that.
school, the old school appreciating the new school. And musicians came together collectively and we jammed out. We I didn't get to post this because I got sick, the flu. I had double pneumonia, all of this stuff. But we were able to bring in toys to bless a family, a mother with 4 kids. We were able to do that and bless her with dinner and everything. So that was amazing. That was something that I believe should continue on until whenever.
Yeah.
To give back. It was a bunch of musicians just coming to give back. Wow. And because we receive from you guys all the time. So that was our gift to the RDU area to give back. So it was amazing. Wow. Shout out to Archie Logan.
Shout out to that. No, I love those concepts, and one musically, just that the dichotomy and that conversation between old and new, and doing that, in a live setting. Once again, hey, I'm shamelessly saying all these things, but doing that, and then the give back portion, I wasn't aware of that part.
Yeah.
So no, that's great, and once again, it goes back to, as we recap the conversation here, it goes back to that, doing it for the right intentions.
Right. That's the key.
And it seems like that's a weaving point into everything you're doing, and maybe why
just
you
being
have
intentional with what I do, man. Just being intentional and honest, like I said.
Yeah, and
intentional and honest.
Yeah, intentional and honest. So thank you. Once again, thank you, Pocket Bae. Thank you for coming on and having this conversation with us. And hopefully this isn't the last time, maybe?
No.
Hopefully
I'll be better prepared. I was nervous. This is my first. Well, no, it's not my first time. It's my second time in a long time, but I was nervous. I'm used to being behind the scenes. But you get me out of my shell. This is 2026. Yeah. It's a reset. So this is a great start. Thank you so much.
You're doing great things. You're doing great things, and this is what this platform is all about. Is people doing great things. Let's talk about it. We'll have a chill conversation and make it happen. That's what we do. That's what we do. So thank you. Look, if you're out there listening, and watching out there on Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff, I appreciate you. I got to end this thing off with a couple things. So like I said at the top of the show, it's Tuesday, and you already know what happens on Tuesday. CJ Baker's open mic over at Rhythm and Brews right outside of downtown Durham, right in between downtown Durham and North Carolina Central University on Fayetteville Street. They start up at about 9 o'clock. With a featured artist. Tonight's featured artist is Al Strong himself. And he goes about to 9:45. And then after that, it's a jam session. It's an open mic. So bring your raps, bring your rhymes, bring your instruments if you're so inclined. I just made that up. That's pretty good. If you're so inclined, and, have a good time. And it's one of those networking pieces. I always got to shout out my guy, CJ Baker. Look, we have some stuff going on with the RDU Live Show. We do our gives back. So I say gives back. That is not the right etymology of it, but that's what I call it. Gives back. And so we'll be doing one of those in the March, April time frame. So if you're ever looking at a way to do something and give back, we'll have that. We like to give out hot meals. That's kind of our thing. We like to give out hot meals to, I say like to, but you know what we mean. Like to give out hot meals to honestly anyone. We don't really have we don't look at who you are, what you have, and anything like that. We set up, and it's hot meals to the community. That's our thing. Nice. And so we'll be doing one of those in the March, April time frame. So please be on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for all the things RDU Live. So next week is the last Tuesday of the month. Last Tuesday of the month, I have to redo these things because it's the first of the year, right? This is the first month of the year. So the last Tuesday of the month is our RDU Live playlist show right here on the radio. We solicit. Hey, we say, if you have some tracks, you have some music, that's clean. It's got to be clean, and preferably it's registered in all the right places. Send it in to us, and we'll play it live here on the radio. We'll give you a radio spin. First 10 artists, first 10 people to do so. It's a playlist show. We're curing that. We open it up. We open it up to, one, come all, right? You just have to follow the directions. You have to get in on time. You have to have your music clean, right? Clean radio edits, all those things. follow those directions, get it in on time, get your radio spin right. That's what we're doing next week. So if you're out there listening, you know what to do. The RDU Live Show, TheRDULiveshow. The RDU Live Show at gmail.com. Or you can just type in The RDU Live Show and it'll come up and you'll find out what to do right there. Email us and we'll have you on, all right? So look, if you're out there listening, I appreciate you. If you're out there watching, I appreciate you as well. You already know it's Tuesday. Have a good evening. Make sure you get home safe and just have a good night. Look, it's Cam with the RDU Live Show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. And like I like to say, let's go live, baby.